millennials are the largest real estate buying pool today. We're here today in Weston with the Sklar team to discuss how they help millennials navigate today's real estate market. Rose, what is currently the largest buying pool in Florida?
Currently, the biggest buyer pool in South Florida I find to be the millennials. They're at about 36% now. They are mostly the children of the baby boomers, which is in about 32%.
How do we define millennials?
A millennial is a child born between 1980 and about 1996. It's not really a specific date. The older kids tend to be in the mid-30s down to about 25, I'd say.
Why are millennials coming to Florida?
The millennial buyers are coming to Florida for many of the same reasons other buyers come, which would be, number one, probably lifestyle, climate. Another reason they're coming is because it's cheaper to live here. In fact, there are a lot of great deals to be had down in the Broward County area, which might seem quite inexpensive to somebody coming from, let's say, one of the states up in the Northeast.
What are the millennials' challenges when buying a home, and how do you help them?
Even though we're finding homes easily through Trulia and Zillow and other social media sites, it's still very useful to use a realtor when buying a home. First of all, the seller pays the commission, so you're really not at any disadvantage when using an agent, and you can rely on their expertise. Even if you can find a home on Zillow, the process of making an offer, going through a transaction, is difficult, and there's some specific things that you need to get right. And you can get a better deal and have a better experience overall if you use a realtor.
They're coming from the Northeast states, most notably New York and New Jersey. Of course, we've got California as well, and they're seeking refuge from the high taxes.
Specific to Weston, what do you think the amenities are that would be attracting for someone to buy here?
Weston is an attractive family community. It's kind of like your little piece of heaven down here. Everything is pretty much gated. We've got our Weston Town Center. We've got multiple parks, recreation, golf, tennis clubs. So much is available. The millennials are choosing fixer-uppers. That's one of the areas that they focus their attentions. They like to have a property that they can get into and afford, and that they could easily do some projects year after year so that they may recoup the money that they put in. Or I find that they like the newer construction, the homes that have been renovated or facelifts, or I find them a lot of times, they're looking for smaller properties. They're really not buying those big family homes of the baby boomer era.
Alex, where are millennials looking to live?
There's actually been a new phrase coined, surban, which is a mixture between suburban and urban, because we're looking for a lot of the walkability, diversity of culture and restaurants, different types of establishments in a city, and the perks of that, but without the city price. For example, I lived in New York City, and when I moved down here, I'm able to get a lot of the same amenities, but I can have a car. It's less expensive. I can have a 2-bedroom for what I paid for a studio, and that's one of the things I think Florida offers. A lot of millennials have student loan debts. With the rising cost of college, it's harder to gather money for a down payment.
Does the Sklar team put together any type of learning events for millennials?
Absolutely, we do. We like to host all types of different events. We're actually working on one. It's a new buyer home financing seminar where we're going to bring in the title company and the mortgage company, and we could give you all the information you need to prepare to buy your first home. Go to our website, sklarteam.com. Everything's there, all the links to all our social media, to our blog, and any events that we might be hosting. SKLAR team, TEAM.com. Call us, or you can call us at 954-298-3626.
There's constant interaction with the parents in the classroom. We're always inviting them. We have an open door policy, which means you can come and hang out all day long, no appointment necessary. We invite them to do Grandparents' Day, Valentine's, just come in, read a book, hang out, cooking. We have cooking classes every week, so the parents volunteer to come in and do a cooking project in the classrooms.
Excellent.
Thumbs up!
it's a lot easier process. We get to employ common sense. When we were in banking, we really did run the bank to make sure that we didn't run afoul of regulators, and unfortunately had many instances where we had to turn away qualified borrowers because they just didn't fit into the guidance that the banking regulators provided to us. In the private equity world, we really can make decisions that are good business decisions without the bureaucracy that's involved in banking.
And welcome back to Thumbs Up SoFlo. Today I'm excited to have Eves Mateos from the Tiny Planet, a school out near Weston that is serving the community here and doing wonderful work every day. And I have the pleasure to know a little bit more about Eves and about the school itself. Eves, thank you so much for being here today with us. I really would like to know more about the school itself and then a little bit about you and what excites you about being here every day. So tell me a little bit about Tiny Planet, how it came to be, and what you enjoy the most as to why you decided to join Tiny Planet.
So the little history on Tiny Planet. Tiny Planet it has over 25 years of experience. They are a Mexican company. They started from a small preschool in northern Mexico and expanded to elementary, middle school, high school, and now they have a university. One of the founding brothers decided to expand to the US, and he opened Tiny Planet, the first Tiny Planet in this country. We are on our 4th year anniversary. As a company, Gravity International, which is the mother company, we've won 8 international awards of excellence. As an independent school, Tiny Planet has won, we're on our 4th year of Best of Weston, Best Bilingual School the last 3 years, hoping for Best Preschool this year.
Yeah. Well, I think it might just likely happen based on what I saw today.
Thank you.
So tell me, what is the enrollment process here? Is there an easy enrollment? Is there an opportunity where there is a possible lottery, a wait list? How is that happening, and how is the enrollment going?
Enrollment is very simple. We are at full capacity at this time, so we do have a waiting process. You come in, you do a tour. I always invite the parents to stay in the room for a little bit, get the feel of the classroom. I always tell them it's a gut feeling. It's not about pricing. It's not about curriculum. It's about the gut. What you feel, if you're feeling comfortable, if you feel like you're at home, this is the place for you. Then you fill easy paperwork out. If you have you're on the waiting list, we'll put you on there depending on the number in the classroom, and then we'll give you a call as soon as a spot opens.
Amazing. So you're at full capacity, but I'm assuming that wait list should grow from here because based on the curriculum that you have here and the full environment seems very holistic.
Our curriculum here is a Reggio Emilia inspired curriculum. So it's a creative curriculum based upon this philosophy of Reggio Emilia. For those of you who don't know, the Reggio Emilia philosophy really encompasses a nurturing, welcoming environment where the children can learn as a whole. So it does encompass our 8 intelligences, so all of the kids learn differently. So what we want to do with our curriculum is make sure that every child gets a chance to learn. So if that's learning through writing, learning through reading, learning through playing, learning through seeing, hearing, that every child gets the opportunity to gain that knowledge.
That is critical for having a successful program.
Yes.
What is the most important thing you would think the parents would want to know about the curriculum?
Probably our learning through play. A lot of parents see preschool as play and they think that play is just playtime, it's just fun time. And it is, but it's very crucial in the development of a child because while they're playing, their brain is open. And when your brain is open, you're able to retain knowledge. So while the child is playing, say with blocks, they're counting those blocks, they're color coding those blocks, they're organizing those blocks. So they're learning essential cognitive skills as well as enjoying themselves and having a good time while doing it. I think that the reason they want to enroll it, again, going back to every child learns different. So we have a very open curriculum. So our curriculum really encompasses the understanding, the trust, the development of the child, not just the cognitive level, but also in the heart and mind. So we want them to learn the basic skills about to be independent, to learn, the right from the wrong and what to happen when the wrong goes on, because, at times it happens. And we want them, to really learn how to be strong, independent children as well as learning their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, their colors, things like that. In our school, we're very fortunate that it's not just classroom-based learning. So in the curriculum, we have a media center, we have a gym, we also have our pool. So throughout the day, the children get to bring their learning to another location. So in the gym, they're doing not only team games, they're doing organized games, they're doing like one-on-one games, and then they're also doing free play. In the pool, we have the certified Red Cross instructor who comes and does actual swimming lessons with the children. So they're learning how to follow directions, they're learning how to swim, they're learning how to not be afraid, they're learning all those basic skills through the different instructors and the different things that we have here. I actually, I went to school for education. I graduated with my bachelor's in elementary education. I've always loved children, always wanted to, be in the classroom educating. And I was very fortunate to get, someone asked me about a director's position, and I came into the administration, and I absolutely love it. I love getting to walk into the rooms and seeing what I've made be created, and see the smile on these kids' faces, and seeing my teachers happy that they get to implement such a wonderful curriculum, and they get that creativity and that freedom to allow them to do the things in the classroom that they do. I tell my teachers, you get paid to color and read stories and read books and things. And so we really try to just make the work environment fun. We have lots of little parties. We give them, little ice cream parties or, things like that. We spoil them with, coffee and breakfast in the morning sometimes. Just things so they can understand that we truly do care about them, that we want them to be on their best foot, and then that as they're good, the children are good.
It trickles down from top down, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for your time and the hard work that you're doing. You're doing great things here. Please continue doing it and be inspired every day by yourself, knowing that you're making a difference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Today we have the pleasure of going to Liz Costello's design studios. The Thumbs Up crew and I, we just really had a great time looking at how she puts her designs together. They were unique, fun, flashy, just a lot of ways that we can see different designs that can be versatile, creative, the colors, the fabrics, just great stuff. I'm really, really excited to share this with you.
We'll get to the front door, open the door, and they're like, oh no. We want the buyer to walk through and say, absolutely, wow, I could see myself here. And that's where staging comes into play. 80% of the people that look online, if the house is vacant, they cannot visualize the room. There's a very small percentage that actually can. So that's why we like to stage the properties.
So tell me, when's the most important time that one should think about doing a reverse mortgage?
Denise, traditionally, people have always used reverse mortgages as a loan of last resort. Conventional wisdom has always been, let's not touch our home equity and leave it to our beneficiaries, or if we do need to touch it, let's touch it when we've depleted everything else to our names.
Right.
Unfortunately, in this instance, conventional wisdom is absolutely wrong.
Wow.
The best time to use a reverse mortgage or a home equity conversion mortgage is as early as possible in retirement to help prevent the issues that would have triggered you to consider it initially.
Now, that is information that so much is contradictory to what we would normally think out in the public right now. Where you are talking about the reverse mortgage, you said that you should think about it early on in retirement, is what you're saying?
Yes.
What are the benefits why they should consider it then?
So if you effectively use a reverse mortgage as a strategic tool, you can benefit and optimize everything you do in retirement.
Tell me how you come up with your inspirations on your designs.
Well, Denise, my inspirations for the teen collection is my daughter. My daughter brings me everything. when I see her having fun and doing all this stuff with her friends, she's telling me with everything she does what I need to create and what they are expecting for a designer to make for them.
Beautiful. And welcome back to Thumbs Up South Florida. Today I have with me Josh Blum from Wellspring Lending, and covering a topic that I think is such good information out there for so many different reasons. And I'm going to have some explanation as to why one should consider the topic of expertise, which is on the reverse mortgage industry. Tell me a little bit right now how you actually decided to get into this particular industry of deciding to work with reverse mortgages.
Denise, I spent a number of years, over a decade actually, working directly with financial advisors and helping them implement retirement income tools.
Right.
And so my background has always been financial planning focused and working with financial advisors. And what I found is most clients are really underprepared for retirement.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And yet almost 68% of their wealth on average is tied up in their house. And we really don't focus on that when we do our traditional financial planning for clients. And so I was introduced to this idea not that long ago, and really dug into the research and the studies and found out that there was overwhelming research showing that we need to start integrating this into our financial planning. However, unfortunately, as a financial advisor, you really can't marry home equity planning into what you traditionally do.
It doesn't work together. It's you choose a lane to work with. You could be informed, but refer out to see who could actually help that person.
Exactly right. And so when I realized that, I realized I could serve a really great opportunity for financial advisors and clients alike and help marry what my traditional foundation was with this idea of home equity planning and do something truly unique for the marketplace.
I tell you, you really bring what I call a hybrid of experience, because you're working with your previous experience as an advisor, financial advisor, transitioning into reverse mortgage, and that in itself creates a lot of similar information that helps in the overall financial planning. So you can actually speak to both worlds in a plan for a couple or a family or whoever is going to have to consider something as important as a reverse mortgage. So tell me about the process of the reverse mortgage and how some of the scenarios that could be one of the best outcomes in making a decision to do a reverse mortgage.
So it always starts with planning, always. And truly, I love to work with financial advisors early on and really make sure that whatever we're doing is not done in a vacuum. We're looking at the entire retirement plan for clients to ensure that it makes sense. But for those clients that it does, typically what we do is we sit down with them, we explain why it might make sense, and the process really begins with the same sort of interview you might have with a client, which is to understand what are their assets and what are their concerns, what are their real objectives here. And if their objectives and their concerns align with what a reverse mortgage can do as a solution, then we walk them through the appraisal to ensure that we understand the value of the house. And then we start to plan exactly how we're going to structure the reverse mortgage.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you could certainly team up with other financial advisors or even someone that has a current financial advisor that can have a discussion with you about maybe this is something that could be an add-on to their overall plan as they're looking at their financials, estate planning, and so on. So along the lines of what does the process look like? So I'm sitting in front of you and ultimately say, I think it's a pretty good idea, we should do that. What does that look like?
So in many ways, it's just like a traditional mortgage application. We're going to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It's quite a bit, unfortunately, for people. And we're going to take a look at the house. We're going to have the house appraised to make sure that it is in good condition. We're going to make sure that people want to age in place because that's an absolute requirement for a reverse mortgage.
All right, stop right there. Age in place. Tell me what that means.
One of the #1 goals for many people today is to find a comfortable place to age. Most people don't want to go into a facility. In fact, 95%, they want to stay at home.
Well, naturally,
So we want to make sure, however, that this is your final home. If you're going to use a home equity conversion mortgage or a reverse mortgage, it is not a cheap transaction. It does come with cost. And if you stay in your home long term, it really helps amortize that cost. It reduces that cost over time.
This break-even point eventually. For what you put out up front, it breaks out evenly as you go down the road. Okay. So let's say now we've gone through the process, and what happens? Does a a check happen at closing? Do they get something that's deposited into their account and they have all this cash? What does that look like, and how does it repaid back?
Well, truly, a reverse mortgage, first and foremost, it creates access to equity. It doesn't mean I have to take it. It's just creating access. And a lot of the planning tools that we talk about with clients is using this to not necessarily just pay down debt, but how do we create access to liquid assets so that if we have an issue down the road, we have money immediately available to address it. So if, for example, we have financial shocks to our retirement plans, we have a sleeve available already to prevent the worst case scenario, which is the depletion of our traditional retirement assets.
Okay, so really we have to have a home or a scenario where it could be the actual applicant or the family sits together, makes a decision. This is probably the best thing to do, is to use the equity we have in our home. And you know what, Mom and Dad? You can actually stay there and age in the home with your comfort of what you're accustomed to now. And in the end, with the actual monies that come from the transaction, let's say we fast forward and it's over a number of years. Is that right that the mortgage is set up?
It's traditionally something you're going to use as long-term planning, so you can anticipate for the remainder of your life, yes.
Well, I have really never thought out the best way to bring this to the table, but I so appreciate what you've shared because it makes a lot of sense. It takes the scare out of what is a reverse mortgage, what is it really best used for, and I really love the fact that it talks about your aging in your home. I think that's amazing, and we want our families to stay in a home, and how many of us would want that for just the general comfort. Well, Josh, thank you so much for sharing with us. This is great nuggets of information. What's the best way for them to reach you to talk more about the reverse mortgage process?
Well, I think it always starts with the conversation, Denise. My phone number is 203-648-6060, and I'm happy to speak with anybody who might be considering this today or down the road. Or you can meet me at my website, www.wellspringlending.com.
I see one-to-one fitness, like I said, 27 years later, we are going all the way. We are going to provide all the health and fitness needs that anyone would need from A to Z here in the Coral Springs, Parkland, Broward County area. You know, from the inside out, that's how we're looking to take care of our clients. You know, fitness, you know, quality of life, aesthetics, just feeling really good about themselves, nutrition and health-wise, and you know, just giving that amazingness A to Z.
Today we have the pleasure of going to Liz Costello's design studios. The Thumbs Up crew and I, we just really had a great time looking at how she puts her designs together. They were unique, fun, flashy, just a lot of ways that we can see different designs that can be versatile, the creative, the colors, the fabrics, just great stuff. I'm really, really excited to share this with you. Liz, how long have you been doing this?
Well, Denise, I'm working as a fashion designer more than 25 years.
It's quite a long time.
I started everything in Colombia, and I came to this country years ago, and I started working as a fashion designer as well. Having experience with a lot of companies here, and finally doing my own stuff. I'm so happy and so glad to make it.
Let's see our first design that you've come up with for this season. Tell me a little about this particular design.
All right, so this design is made in a beautiful two textures together. So we have in the bottom of the dress a thick material to help your body to hold on. And we have this beautiful sequence in the top to make the dress a little more evening wear.
The dress itself is stunning. I could see this being used for gala events, weddings.
Yes.
Actually for any type of event that would really be very appropriate where a gown is necessary.
Yes, you can wear to whatever special events, if you have a cocktail, evening party, or a gala as well, yes.
So let's take a look at our next dress.
All right.
Beautiful, absolutely stunning. The color is amazing.
Well, this
Wonderful.
dress is made in two different textures as well. It's more like a homecoming dress for teenagers, and as we see, we can match the two textures here, the mesh and the solid material, and just a little detail to give the shiny and the party style.
Beautiful for different types of events. I could certainly see this for prom.
Yes, it's a prom or a homecoming
Gorgeous.
dress, and as you see in the back, it's very adjustable to whatever body, to whatever kind of girl, so that is awesome. And if you twirl the skirt, you see it's really wide, and girls love to play with.
Yes, it's very princess-like. I love that.
Exactly.
This also can come in different colors?
Absolutely, yes, I have this one in red and white as well.
Beautiful. Once again, I see a pattern here with the clothing and the designs. The material is amazing. Again, it stretches and conforms right to the body. I love that. Personally, I love
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely. It's very
Beautiful.
important when you feel comfortable when you wear something and you feel like it's another glove for your body.
That's a good way to put it, a glove for the body.
Exactly.
Comfortable. Certainly your designs are definitely one of those that we could say that could be used at any type of event, things of celebrations. So I think we have a special guest here today with us.
Yes, we are.
We have Ilyanette, Miss Teen Cuban American. And I'm so proud to say that this is very stunning. Once again, something that could, I feel, be used for events such as like this. Absolutely beautiful. Tell me about this dress and this design.
Well, this dress is very special high skirt, and we have a double texture of mousseline and a top, and all the sequin and the strapless top. It's a simple figure, but it's so stunning for this kind of pageants of this kind of events.
I really like the high-low, which is very popular in the trends these days.
Yes, it's very juvenile as well, and the girls have fun when they walk in the runway because the skirt has a lot of movement, and the mousseline helps to give these waves, and they love it.
Once again, it looks very comfortable. If you're comfortable in something, you're going to flow and have fun in it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Tell me how you come up with your inspirations on your designs.
Well, Denise, my inspirations for the teen collection is my daughter. My daughter brings me everything. When I see her having fun and doing all this stuff with her friends, she's telling me with everything she does what I need to create and what they are expecting for a designer to make for them.
Beautiful. So let's see this next dress that you have in
Absolutely.
your collection.
Yes.
Beautiful. Love it.
Okay, so this dress has a lot of focus because the sequence is a big spot, and it's a beautiful dress for homecoming, for high school. Girls want to be princesses and they want to be big girls at the same time in this age, and the fluid of the dress help them to do both of them. So the decoration of this dress has a lot of flowers with sequins as well to give the feminine touch. And the back again is adjustable for all the bodies and all the sizes.
Beautiful.
And it's an asymmetric skirt who play with a beautiful style.
So the inspiration comes from really listening to your beautiful daughter.
Yes, it is.
I could see that. It's absolutely gorgeous. I really like the way it flows. And I could see it definitely for junior proms.
Yes,
Even
perfect.
special events. I think this is an absolutely beautiful dress. Great for the spring as well.
Yes, it's a
Thank you
stunning
so
dress.
much. It's beautiful.
And
Absolutely
thank
inspirational.
you. Thank you, Valeria.
So we've covered dresses in your collection that is great for teenagers, gala events, but I think I want to see more of a side that really appeals to the going out, nightclubbing. So
Ready
let's
to
see what our
wear.
next collection is.
Yes, we have a beautiful style ready to wear. Luxury resort, beautiful jumpsuit and animal print with the crisscross in the front and the very wide leg with a beautiful tail. It's a skirt, you can take it off. It's a versatile style. You have two designs in one. You can have your jumpsuit perfectly in the daytime. In the nighttime, you can put the skirt on and you will have a runway entrance.
Absolutely stunning. I like that it's versatile. I like that you can certainly bring it in two different places and have two different looks. So Liz, in your designs, one thing I can say, it's very versatile, diversified, and so I want to talk about what I'm wearing and what you're wearing. Clearly for more of a elegant brunch, more of a mature appearance. This dress is absolutely stunning. The feel, the way it flows, the pattern, I absolutely love it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the inspiration for someone like myself that would want to use a dress like this for daytime events, evenings, and so on.
Well, Denise, that is a clue and important in what you said about it. So we can use these dresses because we are mom, we work, we're here, we're there, and we have a lot of events to go with. So we don't have time to change, we don't have time to go home and see our closet and talk with. So then we need an outfit to be with us whole day, and we can be great with that and all the places we go. So these dresses, as you said, is more for mature ladies, and you feel so sophisticated, so comfortable and elegant at the same time. You can go to a happy hour, you can go to a lunch dinner, you can go to a dinner, you can go to a special meeting, and you will feel special in everywhere.
It's amazingly comfortable.
Yes, it
The
is.
fit is just absolutely something that I think I would want to have on me all the time.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Welcome back to Thumbs Up SoFlo. Today I have with me Rose Sklar, who's our real estate expert that's going to talk about staging your home. How do you convince sellers to stage?
Okay, well, that is a team effort. We do a lot of discussions. We have a sit down. Everything that we do is as a team. My job is to get you the most money for your property in the shortest amount of time. So I need to show you the numbers as to what, if we're going to spend money on a kitchen or a facelift staging or a floor remodel, whatever it is we choose to do, I need to show the seller what the return on investment will be. Renovating the home is going to give you a great return on investment. It's almost mandatory today, especially in Florida. In fact, Jill, my stager, will discuss with you later that California is way ahead of the curve and that we are following suit. So any realtor that's out there that is putting these marketing techniques and implementing them in their properties is way ahead of the curve.
What are some of the biggest challenges as a realtor?
The biggest challenge is the sellers, they don't want to do it. They don't want to spend the money. Oh, the buyer can do it themselves. They're not going to like what I do. But I find that that's not correct. There are a lot of different things that you can do prior to listing your property that are going to make a huge difference to the buyers. If you can't afford the staging, there's other things that we can do. There is virtual staging, which I've been doing a little bit with, but I tend not to like that as much because we get them to the house, they walk through the door and they're lost again because there's no furniture in the property. But the biggest obstacle that I have is convincing the sellers to spend the money. A lot of times what I do is tell them, do you still wear the clothes in your closet from 15 years ago? Now I know that mine don't fit, okay? But typically they're out of style, the colors are out. It's just not gonna feel fresh and new. It's the same way with buyers. When they walk into your home and it's 20 years ago you painted your faux, that's not gonna fly, especially with the millennial buyer pool, which is now a third percent of the buyer pool currently, which is very large. And they are drawn to those TV shows. They love the light paints, they love the staging, and they want a yard for their puppy.
I go to the home, sometimes they're vacant, like this home was vacant when I first saw it. When there are families involved, a lot of times there's that emotional attachment, so we have to let them know we are here to market your home for sale. We want to get your house sold in the least amount of time for the highest amount possible. So what the great thing is here, and I love the success, we are raising all the property values here in Weston and all the other areas I stage. Every property is different, just like every person, different clothes look good on different people. So when I go to the property, I see what needs to be done. If they don't paint, I can work with what's there. And I have a vast amount of inventory. I bring what looks the best that I have available at the time and set it up proportionate with the house. The more usable areas, the higher perceived value in the home. So I try to set up, like in this home, a lot of different areas so the house is doing things. It's like a car with a lot of options. So we want to show that in the house because any buyer that was walking into this house, for example, they can't envision proper furniture layout, like Rose was saying.
Right.
They just don't know where to put their things.
When I'm able to get through to the client, I love the transformation. When they come home and they say, oh my God, I think we should stay, honey. It looks amazing. And they're so surprised that it really didn't cost that much money after all.
Right.
And our team is here to help you through minor staging, renovation, total renovation, and marketing and selling your property for top dollar in the shortest amount of time. Typically, I'll walk through myself. I've had a lot of experience doing this for over 30 years. I know what needs to be addressed and can pretty much eyeball the cost in my head. I like to start with the main areas, which would be the kitchen and the bathrooms are always the big deal makers. In the end, if you want to spend something, the least expensive thing that you can do that's going to help is always one of two things. It's paint and it's front landscaping, because curb appeal is very important, and a fresh coat of paint makes an enormous difference. I'm kind of addicted to my job. I think it's like my hobby, and I like to do it all the time. So if you work with us, you're going to pretty much get me 24/7 unless I'm sleeping. Best place to reach me is 954-298-3626. Text is best.
And what is the email that they could use to communicate with you?
Best to send it to rose@sklarteam.com.
Jay, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Our firm pairs up investors with borrowers. We deal with accredited investors who are typically very sophisticated, who are looking for things beyond stock and bond investments, and we try to match them with folks that need to borrow money secured by commercial real estate. And what separates us from some of our competitors are that my partner and I have a little over 60 years of banking experience, and therefore get a lot of referrals from banks that are highly qualified. So our company is structured as a fund. It's a limited partnership, and our investors essentially are partners with all the other investors, with our company acting as the general partner and doing all the day-to-day management. So our investors essentially have a passive role, but they're typically sophisticated investors, as I stated earlier, who understand the type of risk that's involved with investing in private equity versus stock market, bonds, or a CD at your local bank.
And you did mention this is a passive investment. Tell me what a passive investment is.
That's correct. This is a passive investment. The decisions are all made by myself and my partner as general partners.
Okay. What is the role of a passive investor?
To provide us with capital and to help bring deals to our table, but they're not doing anything in a decision-making process.
Tell me a little bit about the application process for your clients.
It's a lot easier process. We get to employ common sense. When we were in banking, we really did run the bank to make sure that we didn't run afoul of regulators, and unfortunately had many instances where we had to turn away qualified borrowers because they just didn't fit into the guidance that the banking regulators provided to us. In the private equity world, we really can make decisions that are good business decisions without the bureaucracy that's involved in banking.
What's going on with interest rates and how it impacts what you do?
We've seen interest rate rising in the last several months, and I think that'll continue to happen. And I believe as that happens, it's going to allow us to charge more to our borrowers and thus increase the returns to our investors. But there's really no telling. This market has been a very volatile market. The last 12 to 24 months have had things occur that I never would have predicted. So there's no telling, and it's just been a fun ride to see what will happen.
Tell me a little bit about the liquidity when one gets involved in a private equity fund.
The investments are locked up for 48 months. It is a closed fund, so if somebody comes in to make the investment with us, they have to commit to the lifespan of the fund, and the funds are all 48-month funds.
What are the minimums required to consider having an investment with you?
Yes, we typically want to have at least $250,000 as a minimum investment from any accredited investor.
And is there a maximum?
No, we'll take as much money as you're willing to give us.
What actually brought you to enter into the financial world?
It was by accident. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I went to college. I was a chemistry major for 3 semesters and took an economics class and decided I like economics more than chemistry. And so fell into finance, ended up getting a job in Fort Lauderdale with Nations Bank out of university and never left.
What do you enjoy most about what you do?
Interacting with new people every day. Every day is different. There's no telling what the day will have in store when I get up and go to the office, and I find that exciting. I'd be bored if I knew what was going to happen every single day.
Jay, if there's one thing that you would want your potential client to know, what makes Community Capital Holdings different?
Our management is locally based here in South Florida. Our reputations mean everything to us, and we're always going to make the right decision, regardless of how it impacts ourselves. It's going to be to the best interest of our investors.
Okay, so it certainly sounds like there's built-in credibility within the community.
I'd like to think so.